The Law of Grenland. The Kingdom of Grenland is a nation located on the western side of the Great Chasm, occupying most of the areas southwest of the hemisphere and west up until the Chasmerican frontier. Grenland is a direct successor state to the Kingdom of Airship, who had a large percentage of its people flee across the chasm some time after being conquered by Vauhgray during the Expansion War. The national symbol of Grenland an albatross, which originates from an urban myth surrounding their first leader when the country was established. The first Grenlandic King Luff MacCullen was a fisherman who held a minor advisory role in his township's council back in Airship. During the Expansion War, Luff's brother was taken prisoner alongside most of the Airship populace. After the war's conclusion, MacCullen became an underground rebel leader who laid most of the groundwork for what made the Turn Grey insurrection possible. The newly appointed King MacCullen's airship was one of the first to reach dry land once crossing the Great Chasm, which according to legend, became apparent once the king spotted flocks of albatross flying alongside his vessel. Ever since, the seafaring bird has been the Grenlandic symbol of renewed prosperity and unbreaking hope. Vauhgray is an empire comprised of over 24 previously separate kingdoms and duchies which to form a singular entity under one banner. United for the Vauhgray territories stretch across the hemisphere eastward of the Great Chasm, with their homeland stretching from the Grenland Alps bordering Slovakia all the way the western coast in lands which they gained from conquering Airship during the Expansion War nearly 2 centuries prior. Vauhgray and their premier ally, the Kingdom of Tanfield, are the strongest alliance on their continent, with Slovakia being the only real threat they faced on home soil until Grenland and Redamura came knocking. The national symbol of Vauhgray is an osprey, which was the favorite bird and lineage symbol of their first leader, Kaiser Dietrich. Dietrich was previously the King of Grenland, which was the largest of Vauhray's protostates, which was the most instrumental for uniting the larger empire. According to Vauhgray royal records, the symbolic use of the osprey dates back at least a millennium, when Grenland was at the threat of losing a war with another kingdom. They were allegedly saved from defeat during a crucial battle when a messenger bird, an osprey, was able to send a letter calling for assistance. Ever since, the osprey has remained an icon of the Vauhgray people's fortitude, flying vigil over the land and its people. Roughly 165 years before the current war, the Kingdom of Airship was making large advances into the research and application of strontium gas. It was already realized and put into small applications as a means for lift, with small wooden dirigible airships being used in limited capacity by multiple countries. Redamura is a large empire located on the hemisphere westward of the Great Chasm and the strongest of Grenland's allies. Their territory encompasses the majority of land west of the Chasmerican frontier, comprising primarily semi-arid plains and mountainous subtropical coastlines. They also hold control over dozens of different island clusters off of their coastline and expanding out into the further sea, though some of these are either under threat or already occupied by Vauhgray, who has been making advances over the backside of the chasm. While their complement of airships isn't as large as those fielded by some other nations participating in the war, they more than make up for it with their formidable and well-coordinated fleet of surface vessels. The national symbol of Redamura is the sakura, prominently displayed on their flag and throughout their armed forces. The sakura has been in use since the old clan of House Yoshida, who used it as the symbol of their clan, established the empire. Following their victory during the Redamura unification war centuries prior, Redamuran citizens and nobility alike will claim that the cherry blossom is allegory for their empire's unity. Each member of their society is beholden to the same powers of nature, as they all bloom and fall together like the petals throughout the changing seasons. This poetic view of the empire's society also applies to the pre-industrial region under control of the loosely loyal Anseki shogunate, as the sakura tree rarely ever grows in their primarily desert-like territory.